Hello children, today we are going to start chapter number 3 and chapter number 4 of class 8 subject social studies. Okay, chapter number 3 ruling the country outside and chapter 4 tribal Dickers and the vision of a golden age. These are the chapters of the history. So we are going to complete the book exercise and the question answers. Okay, and the question answers we are going to complete in your notebook. So first, when the British came to India, dash was self-sufficient units. So the answer is villages. Okay. Second one, dash was the main source of income for the British, that is land revenue. This system of revenue collection was introduced by Lord Cornwallis. So the answer is permanent settlement. The peasants were forced to cultivate indigo. Now fill in the blanks. The East India Company got the right to collect revenue of dash dash and dash from after the Battle of Buxar. So the answer is Bengal, Bihar and Orissa. Second, between dash and dash, the new Governor General Lord Cornwallis and Sir John Shore, later Governor General, entered a heated debate over whether or not to introduce a permanent settlement. Answer is 1786 and 1790. The company's share in the revenue was fixed permanently with the dash permanent settlement. The state demand was fixed at dash of the rental value and the Malawari settlement was made for dash 66% 30 years. Dash depicted the situation of peasants who were forced to grow indigo in his play dash. Answer is Dina Bandhu Mitra, 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 and second is Neel Darpan. Neel Darpan. Now true and false. The English East India Company wanted a regular source of income. True. The Roetwari system was introduced in Bengal. False. Indigo cultivation was grown by peasants happily. False. The company forced the peasants to grow food crops. It is also false. Next, match the columns. Battle of Buxar. EIC gets Diwani of Bengal. Cornwallis. Permanent settlement. William Bentinck. Malwari system. Thomas Munro. Roetwari system. Dinabudul Mitra. Neel Darpan. Answer the following in short. This you are going to do in copy. Okay. Now the answers I am giving you. Okay. You are going to do in your notebook. First one. Answer these questions in one or two lines. First one. Who was responsible for collecting taxes from peasants under permanent settlement? The zamindars were authorized to collect revenue from peasants on behalf of a company. Why did British need indigo? The British needed indigo because cultivation of indigo was highly commercially profitable due to its demand by dyeing clothes in Europe. Why did peasants take loan from moneylenders? The peasants took land loans from the moneylenders in order to pay revenue, grow crops and meet their family requirements. Which revenue systems were introduced by the British? Permanent settlement, Malwari system and Roetwari system were introduced by British. Next, Question number 5. What was Malwari system? The process of preparing estimates of produce was simplified and it introduced the fixation of rent on the basis of soil type. The process of measuring land and examining soil quantity was also simplified. State demand was fixed at 66% of rental value and settlement was made for 30 years. Answer this question in 4 to 5 lines each. What were the main features of permanent settlement? The permanent settlement was introduced by Lord Cornwallis in 1793. Its main features were the state had no direct contact with the peasants. They authorized the zamindars to collect revenue from peasants on behalf of the British. The zamindars could sell and purchase land. The zamindars were not made hereditary owners of the land under this possession. They and their successors exercised full control over the land. They were asked to collect revenue from the peasants. Every year, they had to pay a fixed amount of a certain date. The company's share in revenue was fixed permanently. Give a brief account of Indigo rebellion. Was it successful? In March 1859, thousands of ryots in Bengal refused to grow indigo. As the rebellion spread, ryots refused to pay rents to the planters and attacked indigo factories armed with swords and spears, bows and arrows. Women turned up to fight with pots, pans and kitchen implements. Those who worked for the planters were socially boycotted and the Gomats, agents of planters who came to collect rent, were beaten up. As the rebellion spread, intellectuals from Calcutta rushed to the indigo districts. They wrote of the misery of the riots, the tyranny of the planters, and the horrors of the indigo system. Worried by the rebellion, the government brought in the military to protect the planters from assault and set up the Indigo Commission to inquire into the system of indigo production. The commission held the planters guilty. After the revolt, indigo production collapsed in Bengal, but the planters now shifted their operation to Bihar. When Mahatma Gandhi returned from South Africa, a peasant from Bihar persuaded him to visit Champaran and see the plight of the indigo cultivators there. Mahatma Gandhi's visit in 1917 marked the beginning of Champaran movement against the indigo planters. Yes, the indigo rebellion was largely successful. Discuss the impact of revenue system on peasants. The impact of land revenue settlement on the peasants. The land taxation system recommended by the British rule constituted the permanent settlement, the Roetwari and the Malwari system. In all these methods, the land taxation was decided at very high price rates due to over assessment by the organization to maximize their benefits in all land settlements. This turned to be very difficult for the zamindars, cultivators, and farmers to meet the taxation demand. The villagers had to face huge land rents to the zamindars, and therefore they are forced in receiving credit from moneylenders, which pull them in clutches of huge debt. Their situation become additionally worsened if the harvest crashed due to unfavorable climatic conditions. The peasants often completed up in default of due, increasing debts and eventually dispossession of their property. Excess production of cash crops led to the situation where peasants had money but they didn't buy food. Why? The reason for this was that the peasants used most of this money to repay their loans and revenue, and the money which was left was so meager that they could not survive on it. Moreover, the peasants were forced to pay their debts on their forthcoming generation. Now, chapter number 4. Okay, children? Open page number 44. Here we have practice time. Okay. Now we are going to complete the book exercise, and after that the question and answers you are going to complete in your notebook. The British officer saw settled tribal group like the Dash and Santhals as the as more civilized than hunter-gatherers or shifting cultivators. So, the answer for this is Gonds. To which tribe did Birsa belong to? It is Mundas. How did the tribal react to the forest laws? The answer is they disobeyed the new rules, continued with practices that were declared illegal, and at times rebelled. So take the D1. After that, fourth one, the Dash Rebellion of 1831 and 32 was a major tribal rebellion against the British. So the answer is Cole. C1. Fill in the blanks. Dash is the collective term for the tribe of the Indian subcontinent. The answer is Adivasi. Dash are among the largest tribal groups in South Asia and perhaps the world. Gonds. The tribal depends on Dash, the region they lived in. Hunting animals. And gathering forest produce in the region they lived in. In 1840, the Dash promulgated an ordinance called Crown Encroachment Ordinance. It is British. True and false. First, the answer question is Jhum cultivators plough the land and sow seed. It is true. Cocoons were brought from the Santhals and sold by the traders at 5 times of the purchase price. True. Birsa urged his followers to purify themselves, give up drinks, liquor, and stop believing in witchcraft and sorcery. True. People were allowed to move freely in reversed forest. False. Match the columns. Jhum cultivation. Northeast state. The Mundas. Jharkhand. Murmu brothers. Santhal rebellion. Birsa Munda. Dharti Abha. Tenancy Act 1908. Chota Nagpur. Answer the question in 1 or 2 lines. Answer this question in 4 to 5 lines. Do in copy. The answers for these questions I will be showing you. Okay. So you are going to complete this work in your notebooks. Answer these questions in 1 to 2 lines. What problems does the British face after they stopped the tribal people from living inside forest? They faced a problem that from where would the forest department get its labor to cut trees for railway sleepers and to transport logs? Why did the British introduce land settlement? The British were uncomfortable with groups which moved about and did not have a fixed home. They wanted tribal group to settle down and become peasant cultivators. So they introduced land settlement, that is, they measured the land, defined the rights of each individual to that land, and fixed the revenue demand for the state. How did the British officials view settled tribal groups and those who moved about from place to place? British officials saw settled tribal groups like the Gonds and the Santhals as more civilized than hunter-gatherers or shifting cultivators. Those who lived in the forest were considered to be wild and savage. They needed to be settled and civilized. How did different tribal groups live? By the 19th century, tribal people in different parts of India were involved in variety of activities. Some of them practiced Zoom cultivation, that is shifting cultivation. In many regions, tribal groups lived by hunting animals and gathering forest produce. Many tribal groups lived by herding and rearing animals. Even before the 19th century, many from within the tribal group had begun settling down and cultivating their field in one place year after year instead of moving from one place to another. Answer these questions in 4 to 5 lines each. The tribals were poor of the people of the forest. Explain. The tribals were people of the forest. They lived in the forest in the form of closely knit community in isolation from others. They mainly depend upon forest produce for their livelihood and hunted animals for food. Forests were an integral part of their lives and it was not possible for them to sustain without forests. Discuss the role of tribal chiefs under the British. Under British rule, the functions and powers of the tribal chiefs changes considerably. They were allowed to keep their land titles over a cluster of villages and rent out lands, but they lost much of their administrative powers and were forced to follow laws made by British officials in India. They also had to pay tribute to the British and discipline the tribal groups on behalf of the British. They lost the authority they had earlier enjoyed amongst their people and went unable to fulfill their traditional function. What was the reason behind the Munda rebellion? The land policies of the British were destroying the traditional land system of the Munda people. Hindu landlords and money landowners were taking over their land and missionaries were criticizing their traditional culture. Munda chiefs were being ignored and their proprietary rights were lost and they had been reduced to the status of farm laborers, so the Mundas responded to the twin challenges of agrarian breakdown and cultural change through a series of revolts and uprisings under the leadership of Birsa Munda. Besides revolting against the British rule, Birsa Munda also wanted to revive the tribal society. Why? Besides revolting against the British rule, Birsa Munda also wanted to revive the tribal society to make it free from various social evils such as alcoholism and illiteracy, and in order to purify the tribal society by showing the path of purity, austerity, and prohibition of cow slaughter for the moral uplift of the tribal society, he wanted the tribal people to protest against injustice and fight for their rights in order to reoccupy the status which they enjoyed in the pre colonial period. He wanted the tribal society to become prosperous and make it free from poverty. So, children, you are going to complete your chapter number 3 and chapter number 4. Okay, chapter number 3 on page number 35 and 36. The question answer you are going to do in your copy, and page number 44 and 45, chapter number 4. The book exercise you are going to complete in your textbook, and the question answers you are going to do in your notebook. So, children, complete your work and learn for your exams. Okay, thank you.